Recordings. Oh, there we go. All right, now we're recording. Welcome, Sketchbook Heroes, Sketchbook Warriors. We're upside down. We're in the upside down. Crazy day here in Southern California. A little bit of smoke and fires, and oh, not just a little bit, but people losing their homes. It's sad. But we're gonna forget about those things for a little bit and do some cow drawing. We're gonna do a cow drawing here. So let's see. I think there's somebody else here. Let me see if I can. Ooh. Oh, nope. I think I see somebody else's. Is my screen the primary? I'm hoping.
Yes.
¿Dónde vas a estar en México? I'm going to be in Mexico City. Yeah. Oh, you're Mexico City. Wow, somebody's already in Mexico City there. Qué bien. Voy a estar en la Ciudad de México empezando el sábado. I'm going to be there this Saturday. Huh, that's interesting. Somebody's out there, so
¿Por
that's cool.
una semana?
Voy a estar un mes.
Wow, qué bueno.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see all the culture and all they go to the pyramids, do all that stuff. So yeah, I'll be there for a month. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's break this down. Oh, this is kind of complex. And this book breaks it down in its own shapes and it's got other squares. The biggest challenge is getting the spacing and how everything fits. And squares does help. But we're going to do it a little bit differently. And I like these shapes here. You can see these basic shapes, these big shapes, and how they relate to each other. Let's see if I can simplify it more. Why don't we start off with that kind of like bean shape? And it almost has the same height, same width. If we look at the square, let's see, square-wise, we're looking at this, am I upside down? Yeah, no. There's the height. And then we look at the width. And there it is. There's our square. So this whole body, look at that, with the feet and all, is kind of like a square. And then I can see the parts. If we break that into half, it's a little bit more than half for the body. Let's just jump into that. Okay, so I'm going to do it my own way. And it's just learning to observe, learning to see the big shapes. When I first started drawing, I just started drawing in details and my proportions would be way off. But drawing it this way, your proportions a little bit better. All right, so we'll just start off with a square. Let's try to get it to be a square, same height, same width. Let's go a little bit darker so you can see it. And then I did notice that the body is not halfway, it's a little bit bigger than half. So it's a little bit more than half. And it's seeing these little relationships, seeing the nuances that makes a difference. The body is this bean shape. So I can already have that top half, which is a little bit, here's the middle. It's a little bit bigger than the middle. Let's do some rounding. Let's make this like a bean shape. And it kind of goes up a little bit to the back. There's a slight body is a little bit lower there, and then the tail goes up a little bit higher. But it's this bean shape. There we go. Try to get that bean shape. It's a little bit bigger in the front, a little bit smaller in the back. But it fits right about there. All right, I think that's good. And that bean shape. Now we're going to add, well, let's add the legs. The legs kind of come in. So there's the front and then the legs. I'm going to see these as one big shape. That helps as well. So the shape goes here. And then back here as well. As one big shape. And then the udders, which is just like a, there is a little bit of overlapping because it is attached or underlapping. It's this udder that's there. Right. I'm happy with that. And I'm looking back and forth. I'm looking at my drawing and I'm looking at the picture I'm copying. And I compare and see how it's the same, how it's different. And this is where placement is important. If you do the neck too long, it'll look like a horse. If you do it too long, it'll look like a giraffe. So the placement of this head is just right about there. And let's get the proportions a little bit bigger. It's bigger than the udders. Noticing how big it is compared to the body, how far it is to the body. And I think that's it for the snout here. That's right in here. Now, what I do when I do see shapes as well, I see axis lines. And the axis lines are also angles. You can see that also helps. That angle there, that number 8. And this is the framework. This is the important part of the house that keeps it all together. Noticing these shapes, these big shapes. And then everything else is the dressing that makes it look nice. But if the framework's not good, the house is gonna fall apart. So let's put everything together now. Let's start off with the head. I think I like the size of the head compared to the body. It is a little bit smaller than the body. But let's get it going. Let's just zoom in on the head and do that. Nice. Never been. We'll do so someday. Awesome. Yeah, I'm on my traveling kick now. All right, so we're close to the head. I don't like those droopy eyes, but we'll see what we can do. We'll start off with this nose, because it is on top and it is in front. And it's another like bean shape. So it looks like it's pushed up and then comes down and then around like this, like this bean shape. Right in there. And then there's a little bit of a lip. And then it just comes down and around. Yeah, each drawing is a puzzle. Some are a little bit harder, some are a little easier. You got to find your level, find your challenge, and then do it. Now, these nostrils are 3-dimensional. They're just kind of like a backward C. We'll do a backward C on that one. And this one's like a C as well, this way. There you go, that's the C. And then inside those C's are the hole, nostril holes. There's one on this side, and then one on this side. And they look like eyes. This can even be a little character right there. The thing is to have fun. Enjoy what you're doing. Sometimes it can be a little frustrating, but that makes it fun too. Like just the way we started today. All right, we have some ears. Now, I like the ears. We can put in, starting with a line to see, okay, that my ear's going to be going at that angle. And I can make changes if I want to. I can say, okay, just really easily just put, okay, that ear's going to be going there. And I can imagine it before I do it. And even the horns, I can imagine those as one big shape. And that would be the outside. That's the horns and the ears. So let's do one ear at a time. I'm going to go up and over, see if it fits right there, and then bring it down. There's one ear, and like a leaf, put a little oval on the inside. And then this other ear, same thing. Yeah, you got to find your level. If it's too easy, you get bored. If it's too hard, you give up, and you have to not give up. You have to kind of like challenge yourself, and if it's too hard, try to simplify it. If it's too easy, don't get bored. We're going to get a little more complex. We can go faster. We can find harder drawings. Let's see. And this eyebrow goes up and over, and then it attaches itself to the cow. Here, there's a bit of a jaw right here, and then it goes into that snout right in there. We start off with a circle, but we're giving it a little bit of shape. This eye is bigger because it's closer. We'll draw that oval right in there. And it is sleepy. It's got this sleepy cow look. That rule applies to so many things. I wonder which rule that was. I have so many. Yeah, it is patience, persistence, seeing the big picture as well. Sometimes we get caught up in the detail, and that's where we're at right now. But you got to see the big picture. So you can get lost in the forest. Just looking at the leaves, you got to take a step back sometimes and see where you're going. All right, here we go. Yeah, drawing is a mental game. When you get the cats in the pants, oh my gosh, I can't draw, I can't do this, I can't. Just learn to get over those little humps. There's one eye. We're gonna go above or below. I think we're gonna go below because it's kind of got these droopy eyes. There's that one. And then we're going to draw this other circle underneath. That's the pupil inside. A little bit of an eye. How's that looking? Good. We're zoomed in, so that's good. A little bit of a cheek there. Just giving a little bit more shape. And then do the top. We got one eyebrow here. There's another little bumps. Two little bumps. Right at the top. Okay. All we need is the horns. And they're attached to another little hump at the top. Feel free to add pictures about it. Is too easy, you get bored. Oh yeah, too difficult, you give up. Oh yeah, like I mean, just think about your school experience. And oh, that class was easy. Oh, that class is hard, but it really is, it's the teacher driving the whole thing, not students taking ownership. It's really got to take ownership. Like here, I said, okay, I saw that I had my horn. I go, oh no, that's too low. So I actually took ownership and I made it a little bit higher. And here too, and I want that one to line up, and I went too low there. So this time I'm gonna go up a little bit higher. And you gotta learn to use your judgment and say, okay, that worked, that didn't work. Okay, that didn't work that time. That's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself. Sometimes we are. Another life lesson. we're not here for drawing.
Eladio, can you
Surprise!
please move your camera up a little bit so we can see the horns?
Sure. Thank you. Let me zoom out. Surprise life lessons. And that's what I love about drawing. You're solving problems, you're figuring things out, just like life, right? Sometimes people don't figure things out, or they figure things out too late. I should have bought her roses. Oh my God. All right, let's attach. I should have bought, how does a Bruno Mars song go? All right, so there's a little bit of overlapping with the cowbell, because we need more cowbell. But we need to get the neck attached to the body. So
Cowbell.
yeah. All right. Got my people. More cowbell. All right, here we go. So there we go. The head is attaching to the body. I'm taking a look and seeing how it looks, and seeing the proportion. It looks pretty good. Do I need to zoom out or move my paper? Yes, I do.
Thank you.
I got a fever. Oh no. Hopefully it's a good one. I've never taken an art class. First time I was a bit weary, but attending it, but I'm glad I did. Oh, awesome. Good. Oh, thank you for the feedback. Yeah, it's good to get feedback. And sometimes it's like, okay, I got a bunch of feedback from I know my computer's giving me feedback saying, hey, we need upgrades. I'm like, okay. I'm glad you're joining us as well. Now here, I'm also gonna see, now I have the body here, my piece of clay, and I think I'm gonna go up a little bit higher. See, I can make this adjustment. I think because from the ear, I'm gonna have it flow up. See, this is just our beginning shape. And I'm gonna add this here, this whole, to this pelvis bone, I think. No, that's, I don't know, well, there's definitely this, some bone shapes here. There's that one, that's the center one. And then on the sides, this one looks like a number 7, right in there. A funny thing, not a funny thing, my dad was a beef breaker. He worked next to Farmer John here, and he would do the cuts for in and out and the cuts for the military.
I was in Vernon, right? Because I remember smelling that stench when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, yeah, right in Vernon, exactly.
Yeah.
And it depends on the time of day. When it was the pig poo, yeah, but then it smelled like bacon other times, and that was wasn't too bad of a stench. I was like, is it bacon? You're kind of like driving by. Is it going to be bacon or is it going to be pig poo?
What was that word you just introduced?
Which one? Pig poo?
The act that your father did for his living.
Oh, he was a beef breaker.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. Well, he would cut
Like a
the. It's because
butcher?
it's more than just a butcher. He cut the big parts, the big,
Like
you
the
know,
body, the
yeah, the
big
body.
muscles. Yeah.
Yeah, when he first
Wow.
started
I'm
there,
from
they
Illinois and
were,
Wisconsin
they were
and
doing,
never
I don't
seen
know. He
this.
said about 200 cows a day, and he goes, "Oh, this is not going to
Wow.
last," because he came from Mexico and
Uh-huh.
he's seen cows, and he nope, 200 every day, nonstop.
Wow. He must have been muscular.
Yeah, he was. Oh yeah, he was muscular. He was very muscular.
Could he eat that animal too? Or was he sick of it?
No, he did, but and my mom was the turned to be a vegetarian. Yeah, but it was all good.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. To each their
Oh,
own.
if you haven't seen, there's this movie. Oh, what's her name? She's autistic, and there's a whole movie because she made.
Marley Matlin? No,
Huh?
that she's just Marley Matlin.
No.
Temple Grandin.
Temple
Grandin.
Grandin. Temple Grandin. Yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah, there it is, Temple Grandin. It's a good movie. And her mom really believed in her and helped her get through school and actually get her doctorate. Okay, we're gonna add this cowbell, more cowbell, and this is a rib that kind of goes around, and it's really simple like this, but there's a thickness to it. See, I can just do that little oval circle, and then I'm just gonna thicken it up.
That's what it
Give a little thickness. Ribbons are fun, but we're not gonna get into ribbons. There we go. It goes around and it's wrapped around there. And because of overlapping, one of the ways artists create space, I'm just going to shade over it without erasing. I'm just going to cheat a little bit. And here's the cowbell. You can say it's an oval. Let's just cut with another little oval there. How's that?
Very nice.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Thank you for joining us for New Year here. We're here plugging away. Okay, so now watch this. There's a little bit of taper. I'm looking at these front feet and the back feet. The placement's pretty good, and I'm checking and double checking, making a list, checking it twice.
Checking it twice. Sorry.
And this probably a little bit more of an angle here. See, I'm looking at this outside and how it tapers and making it solid, putting it solid here. And then here, I can actually consider this as well. I don't try to see the detail. I try to see these big shapes. This is like a half a circle there and another half a circle here, like in that space. And then this leg here and then this leg there. Now we can worry about the details because I got the placement more or less. And then here on this side, I can follow this foot as well. Another good tip is seeing the tip of the toes. And there's an angle there, as well as these toes over here on this side. They should kind of line up. See that? That helps. Let's see, we got half a circle here, half a circle there, and they should be lining up. See these back feet, the front feet. And this goes behind the udders. Ain't no udder like your mother. All right. Silly, getting silly here. All right. Now the detail. The detail. Save the tail for the last. But here's the detail. There's a little bit of a turn right in here. A little bit of a turn, and then it goes up. And this side is straighter. There we go. See that little bit of a curve back there? And then the detail, the hooves, it's split in half. There we go. And then I'm just doing it right on top. And then it's all shaded dark. On Monday's class, we had a class Monday for AI. I couldn't hear. Right now I can hear you because I have you on a different computer. But I'm hearing a little bit of an echo, but it's all good.
Okay.
All right, you guys are hanging in there. Awesome. Hey, so if you put any requests, put them in the chat. I will draw anything. We are going to get to drawing figures. I'll go over this, some of the proportions. We talked about a little bit about proportions and learning proportions. And we've got the average adult female height, and we've got the average adult male height.
I just looked that up on the computer recently.
Oh, sweet.
The world.
Yeah, feel free to put something in the chat. And we'll draw it. All right. And I'm trying to get my printer set up and all my setup set up. Wow, and that's so awesome. We have so many people here tonight. We have 4,000 members, and we have 52 of you here tonight. That's awesome. No, wait a minute. 72. Oh, 72 people here tonight. That's awesome.
Nice.
Is it? Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Thank you for joining us. So questions, but that's the whole thing. Be curious, ask questions, observe. This whole new world we're in. I mean, I always would tell my students, ignorance is a choice. You know, if you don't know something, you gotta ask questions. Ask questions. Wait a minute, because we you know, in schools, teacher can't handle so many questions, but now, you know, it's there. All right, let's zoom in. Will you go over shading techniques at some point? Yeah, we can do that. We can do shading. Shading is the icing on the cake. So this is why I focus on just the framework, and then shading just kind of comes. There's several ways to shade, and sometimes just doing it along, and then using different things to shade. And that's like charcoal's fun, but messy. All right, let's get these udders in here. Now there's something, how artists create space. And so let's do this. Okay, so I call it space pods. There's P for placement, pods, O for overlapping. Take notes, spell it right, overlapping, and D for detail. And then S for my favorite is size. All right, so this is how artists create space. Placement, things that are lower are closer to you. See these hooves, they're lower, they're closer. And as you go higher up, it gets further back. So even on our paper, things that are higher up, even just a little bit, you know, it's further back, usually. This is general rules. Then overlapping. This udder is behind this space. So we're using that to create space by putting it behind. Here, this leg here is going in front. This front part of the leg is straight, and then this back part has a little bit of a bump right in here, and then it goes straight down. See that? This is worth the price of admission right here, space pods. So we have overlapping and then detail. Things that are closer have more detail with an L, and then things that are further away have less detail, or there's more space dissonance, atmospheric dissonance, which means, you know, like mountains turn blue or gray today. And then size, my favorite. Things that are closer are bigger, and things that are further away are smaller. So you change the size. We did that with the eyes on the cow. This eye is a little bit bigger because it's closer to us, and this is a little further away.
It's
You'll see
beautiful.
that a lot. Did you see that? So
No, we can only see down to detail. Thank you.
All right, let's get back to our cow. Here we go. And then all this detail. There's three udders, and well, there's two udders in the front and two in the back. I'm trying to see how I'm going to break it down. So there's one here, one there, and then one behind. This one's behind, overlapping or underlapping is behind there. And then this one's behind as well, but it's sticking out, but it's behind this part of that. I'm sure that bladder, or I don't know what it's called. I'm sure it has a name. There it is. All right. You guys are all so well behaved. It's awesome. I know. Oh my gosh, we've had less people. We've had bombers, and we've had all kinds of stuff, challenges, but we're still here. And then there's grass. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's get that other foot in here. There is like in the hoof, a little bit of a split, and it kind of goes two little points there. This one looks like the letter E a little bit. And then the darkness of the hoof from here to there. And then we've got spots, and we can practice a little bit of shading. We'll talk a little bit of shading. Somebody put that in the chat. Doesn't have to be taught tonight, but it's all good. Here, I think we forgot the spots in the eye. Let's zoom in. So there's that split there.
Ah,
And this split here. Yeah, forgot that. And then we can just shade it in. Here, this shading is it's almost like cross hatching, just going back and forth. Here, and then I'm just shading that way. And hatching is a good way to shade. Let's see, I'm just going back and forth, back and forth.
fun.
And now, there it is. Move over.
That's how I do it.
There it is. There's the shaded eyes. There's a spot over here. One of my favorite words is contrast, and having contrast. You can't have white against white. It's like a polar bear in snow. It's hard to see. So you gotta always try to have, if you can see some lights and darks happening. But I'll just go ahead and shade it. And then see here, this is dark against dark. So I'm gonna make one side darker, or I can outline it a little bit more. But so contrast is something to think about. And I can go darker, pushing my pencil a little bit harder. And when you're shading, going in layers helps too. I have this one layer, and I can go darker as well. Like on here, I can push this a little bit more. And you'll see how that gives it a little bit of more dimension because it's darker in this part. And when it comes to shading as well, it's knowing how light hits objects. Like you see here, the eye, I have a little bit of light right at the top. That makes it pop even more, gives it that extra contrast. I can put a little bit of darkness around it. But that's like really super small detail. I mean, look how my finger there covers that up. All right, let's do a couple more spots, three more spots and the tail, and we're done. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oops, not zoom in, out. Who remembers zoom? Come on and zoom, 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 zoom. So there's a little bit of an oval shape that kind of wraps around the body like that. And I'm not seeing any pictures, so that's okay. I don't know. Let's see what else we can draw next. Oh, you know what I have? I have a car, a truck. A truck we can draw next. We'll draw a truck.
Nice. A food truck?
No, it's like a semi truck.
A taco truck.
A Tonka truck. No. There we go. Let's see. To show you a quick preview. And it looks tough, but it's not. It's just angles. There's a little bit of perspective here. We'll get to drawing that one next. But unless somebody has a picture, please utter less. It blocks out. Oh, the picture. Let me see. There we go. I think so. Oh, we still need our spots. All right, so we can get all fancy. There's like an oval shape and another circle shape. I've kind of seen this. I'm trying to see it as parts and whole. But it looks like a number 8, but now it's a little more abstract. Kind of comes in. That just helps me get it started. Goes up, and it actually even comes down to a point a little bit. And then it kind of comes up and then around. There we go. It looks like that shape. There's a little bit of a point to it. And it's that shape. And then I just shade it in. And I usually just shade back and forth. That's one way of shading. Another way is circles, making little circles. I can shade in just little spirals. And then there's different pencils. This one's an HB pencil. But I can usually shade with just one pencil, just like a middle-sized pencil. Ah, Crystal has a, oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing your Pelican. Awesome. It's in the chat. That's really good. Love it. There we go. There's one spot, and then there's another spot back here. And there's a little bit of shade because on the whole cow itself, there's a slight shade. Let's see what it says. Oh, there's another pelican. Oh, sweet. Oh, yeah, look at that. You guys are awesome.
Oh,
Oh, I got to get my computer. Yeah, I had a new computer and then I had trouble with the internet. And then I erased some files. I guess I shouldn't have. But I returned it thanks to Costco. They're really good about stuff. Let's clean it up a little bit. We still need our tail. And then see now, you can see the overlapping. You can see that going front. And then I'm going to slight shade. I'm going to slightly shade. It's a slight shade. Even though it's white, it's not completely white. There's a shade that's giving the whole cow a form. It's giving it form. That's the next level. First level is shapes, and then the next level is form. Because then this bean shape is more than just a bean, well, a circle. It's a sphere. It's more of a sphere, a ball.
mhm.
All right. That gives it a little bit of a shadow. Let's do that tail. I kind of did it in here like this, just with one swoop line. That really helps just get it in. I can put a little more curve in it. That's what I'd like. And now I can give it the thickness. And see, okay, this is where it fits. I can just put that there. And it gets a little bit wider at the end. And then get my thickness. Now, the challenge here is to not just draw one line. Now you're drawing a thickness. So you're looking at the first line as you're drawing the second one. Wow, look at everybody's posting their drawings. It's awesome. Exciting. And this is where, here you can do a baby calf. What do baby calves drink? Oh no, what do cows drink? That's the joke. Most people say milk. No,
People
cows
milk.
drink water. Baby
Oh.
calves or calves drink, yeah, milk. All right, there we
Nice drawing, Teach.
go. Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right, let's do the truck. All right, thank you for hanging in there. It's gonna get, I don't know, I don't think this is that difficult, but if you have pictures, you want to post them. Where'd my truck go? It should be here. Here it is. All right. And whoever screenshot and put it. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you for joining us, Crosby. Yes, it's that first hour. We're on our second hour now.
Oh,
And hopefully, we'll be a little bit smoother next time. I really apologize, but thank you for joining us. All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, gotta go. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yes, it is getting a little more challenging, but it's not that much more. I mean, all right, we'll talk about it. We got Foreman here. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Can you bring it down just a little bit so I can get a screenshot?
All right, there we go.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Especially if you post it. Wow, we got quite a few people here still hanging out. Wow, 61. I think this is our record. Oh, we used to if you go to sketchbookhero.com, you can see some of our old videos. Just hang in there. The thing is practicing and patience and persistence and keeping at it.
perseverance,
Through the
right?
thick and the thin. You're welcome. Lots of fun. Enjoy Mexico City. Thank you. A lovely place and so much to draw. Yes. Hopefully you'll be able to show us. Oh, yes, I definitely will. Thank you. See you next time. Yeah, next month. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're going to do this truck, and then we'll probably get into our proportions of a person unless we have questions. There are some other images if you have something you want to put in there. All right, let's break this one down. Let's do it here. I was looking at this earlier, and I try to see a square, and I do see a square right in here, right in there. Let's see. We can get another sheet of paper and measure. If you want. Here we go. I can see the height compared to the width. I can get a little sheet of paper here.
This time I can't see it.
See, that's the height. And then if we take that as the width, right there, look at that. Just a little bit wider, but really close. So from here, actually from this, because it actually gets wider up here, right at the top. Yeah, that'll actually be square. So from here to here, that's square. And I think I see out of the corner of my eye some chat stuff. Yeah, this is a square. Oh, wow. There's a go. There's somebody else. Somebody else posted their pelican and their cow. Awesome. All right. See you next time. Thank you. We're going to continue here with hardcore warriors, hardcore heroes, we'd call you guys. And there's slight curves and everything in there, but this will help get us going here. The height and the width, that's the square. And then if we take that and half again, that's the size of our bumper. You can see that bumper. So we're going to start off with that as a square. And let me see. And above the center is that. We're looking at, for all these relationships, more pelicans. That's awesome. If I had my other computer, I'd show them. But you can look at it here in the chat. But if you're on the, I actually drew two versions of each. That's awesome. You challenged yourself. One of me just trying on my own and one following you. Wow, what an improvement. That's awesome. Yeah. Just draw for fun. Awesome. Oh, so cool.
I hate to say this, Eladio, but I don't know how to screenshot and share.
Oh,
Yeah,
how to
mine
shoot and
didn't work
share?
this
Oh,
time
okay.
either. Yeah.
Let me see. That's a good question. I don't know how they're doing it, but that's a great question. The question is how? How do you
You have to
shoot and
play
share?
around.
So, somebody saying something?
I was just commenting, I had to play around. The first time I was great, second time good, third time no.
No.
You
If
know
you
how
would
to do a
like,
screenshot?
I'm a youngster. I could possibly help. If you're on your phone, if you have an iPhone, you can kind of just push the home button and the on-off button, like just one after the other. If you're on your computer, you can look at the insert button. It usually says insert or print screen. It's right above where your home and end buttons are on your computer. You can try that. But if you're on your phone, you kind of have to fiddle around with it a little bit. It's a little more difficult.
Yeah. Everybody's has their own thing. Yeah. Sometimes control
No,
print
I'm on
screen.
my computer on my Mac, and I honestly don't even know how to work it very well.
Or you can put it. Why don't you go ahead and put it to your camera? We can see it. Put it to the camera.
I don't even know how to
see you
switch it around, but I'll try it. Let me see.
Okay. Because I can see you. There you go. Oh, look at that. That's nice. That's a nice size. Yeah, there you go. Awesome.
All right.
Super cool. That's a good size. Yeah, that's bigger than what I drew. All right. Somebody else
Where
is,
would
oh,
it
we have
be?
quite a few people posting their pelicans and cows and awesome
Oh,
iPhone
I
power
love
up,
that.
power and
Lisa,
volume
that's
up together.
beautiful.
Thank you for sharing. Everybody, thank you for sharing. Shift Command 3. Oh, even sharing the knowledge. Shift Command 3 or Shift Command 4 on a Mac to screenshot. Wow. Awesome. Great community. Oh, this is awesome. We're going to be here next month. And then we're going to go weekly. Wow, awesome. This is actually we're in for a great new year. Let's do this. All right. Let's start off with our truck here. Let's see. Here we go. We're going to start off with a square. There's slight nuances, but this part of this truck is facing us. So the angles are vertical and horizontal. We're going to just try to get that square in there to get started. So it depends on how big your square is, that's how big your drawing is. So just make sure you have your square, and then you have space to the right, about half a square to the right, half a square to the top of that, and probably a quarter square below that. That's the kind of spacing we need. And I'm eyeballing this. And the more you practice, the better you get at drawing these ratios. It's the height and the width, it's a square. And let's see how accurate I got. Take my count. Here I can see just by eyeballing, there's the height, and then you can check it. The width, look at that. Perfect. No such thing as perfection. It's really, really good. Close. All right, so there we have the height, the width. I'm going to break this in half, right in half, right in there. And then above the half, that's where the top glass is. Just slightly above it. Just slightly above the middle. And I can break that into fractions, but that's like really minuscule, like 1/8 or something. Now here, because this side of the glass is closer to us, it is not the center. So here's the center, you can see the center. You want to go off center a little bit with a slight angle. There's a slight angle right in there. That's that whole glass. This one glass is bigger, and this is a little bit smaller. There we go. And then, because this will be the center. And then I can see right in here is the grill. Let me try to get that to fit in there. The grill. Okay, I've got two glasses, the grill. I'm just blocking things in. I'm not worrying about too much detail. So then I know that here are our headlamps. They're just two circles. There's one, two. And then on this side, one, two. There. And a little more on shading. Yeah, we have some shading. Let's see. I don't know what, yeah, the biggest thing with shading is just really doing it. And not being afraid of making things look like they're dirty. Let's see. Yeah, there's a few tricks. You can actually even get a blade in here and get a tissue and just get some pencil filings like that in the tissue as well. Some people use their fingers, but you get some of the oils on there, but you can get some shading that way as well. And then eraser too. The hardest thing with shading as well is getting the values. So control of the values, where's your dark is dark. And then like this pencil doesn't get that dark. I would have to get another pencil that's a little bit darker. So you get the whole range like a piano. Some people just play with one side of the piano, but you want to try to get the whole range or know which range of the piano you're using when you're shading. All right, here we go. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I need to highlight myself. I don't know if I can from here. View profile. No. Oh, pin. Well, but that only pins for me there. Yeah, if you need to pin me, I think you can right click on my picture and pin me. All right. Let's get this bumper on here on this truck. It does come out a little bit. It comes down. Yeah, the biggest secret to drawing is seeing the relationships. How do things relate to each other? The height to the width, angles. Notice this angle here. This looks almost like a 45-degree angle there. And this one's a little bit steeper on this side. This one's a little bit, yeah, this one's a little steeper. And then it comes across. Oops. Straight across. That whole bumper. Look how perfect I draw. I'm being facetious. Yeah, see, that's the big shape. And then there's a thickness to it. Yeah. Here, there's a little bit of a line right in here. And then we've got the license plate here. Does it say something? Oh yeah, it says big dog. I can read that. This big dog on the license plate. And it's a little bit to the left, actually. A little bit more to the left. But it's the top part here. And then the license plate. And feel free to get creative if you want to. And that's the thing, you know, creativity, it's your creation. You're creating it. You're making it. So you can make it any way you want. There's no, it's really what you feel. And the more you practice trying to shoot for that, like, hey, I'm trying to express yourself. You're expressing yourself. It's your expression. And then if you're trying to shoot for accuracy, that's a whole other thing. Okay, so there's this reflection of like mountains up and down, kind of like a little bit of swirliness up there. That's the mountain. And what's cool about this reminds me of chrome lettering back in the 70s. Yes, kitties. It goes from dark at the edge, and then and this is where circles come in. This is a good way to shade as it comes down, and you get lighter. So the edge is dark, Here's a good little shading practice. And as it comes down, you just slightly lighten it up like a feather. So it's darker at the edge, and as it comes down, and it's just pencil control, just making these little circles, circleism. Yeah, if you look it up, circleism, it's a shading technique. So I'm just making little circles. And another way is hatching, making hatch marks, which is back and forth. And you can do cross hatching. There's with ink. That's a good start. Because sometimes you don't have to do it so smooth. You can actually shade like this when you're showing your lines like this. Right in there. All right. There's our bumper. I don't think I'm going to get to fit the license plate. I'm just going to darken it to have some contrast. My favorite, one of my words. All right, that's looking good. I'm getting the detail on the bumper. All right, so from here, we're going to do this profile part of the truck as it goes back into space. This is back here, and then it goes up. And right where the lights are, it goes in and then up again, like a little staircase. And I'm going to put a slight angle up as it goes to the left. All right. And then now I'm going to do the top and add a little bit of a curve to it. A little aerodynamics, a little bit of a curve. And then down to that. Just there's a slight curve. I'm using my wrist. And it does stick out a little bit on the left. And then here as well, a little bit of a curve. And a little slight little curve. I'm using that my wrist. And I'm putting it on the table. And then I'm using that to kind of give it a little bit of a curve. And I could bring this out. And it's got designs. There's these two circle headlights are kind of settled inside this rectangle shape. I can make the headlights a little bit bigger so it fit in there. Move it around a little bit. And there's a little bit of in and out. That make sure that little bumper, see how it sticks out. That curve. Let's clean this up. Where's my eraser? Okay, let's erase this one. All right. Okay, looking good. There's little reflections in here. Let's see, in my circles, I can actually, let's put a little bit of cross hatching. I'm just going to put lines up and down, right down the center. There, same thing over here. The details, I'm losing them a little bit, but that's good enough. It's interesting. All right, here we go with the grill. There's a thickness to it as we go around, like the letter N almost, or a giant staple. It's this part right here. I'm giving that thickness. There we go. See that? And then the lines. This is easier. You just get the feel of it. There's a thickness to it. There's a space. And then a dark space. And just fill it in. What makes things look so complicated is the detail, but if you can see the big shapes like that, and then just, okay, this is just filled in, and how the distance or that doesn't matter as much. The big shapes is what matters. I'm not worried about how many. Well, we can though. We can count them and then divide and shoot for accuracy. but we're shooting for fun. If you want to shoot for accuracy, you can go for it. Suit yourself. And I can add a little bit of shade to it too, here, just to push it back. A little bit of contrast. Pushing that back a little bit, pushing the grill. It's like good shading. See, it's just back and forth. It's a good practice for the hatching. All right, now I'm going to move this over a little bit. This window is a little bit smaller, but I can see here, I'm going to use that. See, don't be afraid to make adjustments. See, that's the center. And then we've got the windows. So I'm going to put in the windows. They're just squares inside. Yeah, there's a bunch of rectangles. Let's do the big rectangle first. So the big rectangle just comes down to the bottom, and then it goes to the top. There's not as much as around it. It's a little straighter. That's the top. Actually, that's about it. It does have an extra line on this side. Now we're going to do the little squares inside that. There we go. One square, the thickness of that frame. Thank you for hanging in there. This side is facing us, so that's why our angles are almost vertical and horizontal. And this is where perspective starts to play a part. When you're learning to see things and draw things, and you're learning to observe angles, you start seeing like, oh, wait a minute, this angle's off, or this angle. It's kind of hard, but there's only so many angles. The main angles is you have your vertical angle, horizontal angle, your 45s, and then everything else in between to infinity. Right, so that's basically the angles. But when you're learning to draw and observe, like let's say if I was drawing this laptop, I can see the angle, these two angles here, and then this angle here coming at me. Right there, see these angles to make that. And then the top of the laptop. And just slight angle up, slight angle up. So these little slight observing. And then the thickness to my laptop. And then all the keyboards. Well, that could be a computer too. The parts. And this would see this angle. There's my keyboard. All right, let's go back to the truck. Back to the truck. All right, here we go. This rectangle for this window on the inside. A little tougher on that. You can use a ruler if you need to, but doing it all freehand. There we go. All right, I think we just need the little details of the light, and then we can continue. Oh, we've got the horns on top. Well, we're almost there. So here, this doesn't go all the way, this little rectangle. Let's do that rectangle. Right in there. And then we've got the headlights in there as well. 1, 2. And then a line in the middle. And if the lines, yeah, the lines in the middle on the other side as well. Probably part of the reflection. Now, if I could do this bigger, I would show you the details here better. Let's see, I think I am going to do one of these headlights bigger to show you how I would do it. So if this headlight was bigger, it's really big. I can draw a circle here. Then I can see this actually kind of comes in like this shape here. And it looks like there's a little bit of a highlight there at the top. but I would say, okay, here we go. Headlights. This is the way I'd probably do the headlights, a little bigger. And shaded it with hatching like that, because there's this texture to the headlamps. Like that. Yeah, I'd probably do something like that. Maybe a little bit of shading on top of it as well. That's good. That's a little more detail than this. This is really small, hard to get the detail. It's so small. I think we're done with the front. We just need the horns on the top. Okay, let's get the placement. So I can already see there's going to be one horn there and one horn there. Those are the two circles. Yeah, right in there. And then there's a lot of other little shapes and stuff. But those are the two main ones. Let's get our circle here. My drawing board isn't smooth. There's a little bit of overlapping. It goes under or behind. We talked about overlapping. This one's going behind there a little bit. And it's a circle. And then there's off the center is that center circle where the hole goes. And it has some of that similar shading to make it look like it's reflective or chrome. And then it comes down. And what this is actually a cylinder. It's a cylinder shape. So when you're looking at cylinders, let's do a quick cylinder thing. If you're looking at a cylinder, you're looking at it straight, it's a circle. Like this, for example, this bottle jar of paint, you're looking at it straight. It's I use the top to mix up some of my colors. And as you turn it, it changes into an oval or an ellipse, right? And this is a cylinder. And learning to draw this, it's always the same, changes pretty much the same till it's a straight line. And you can see it change to an ellipse, and that's what's happening here. This is a circle. And then you see the side, that's this top part right here, going back into space. So this side has a similar thing. We've got the center hole because it's going back into space. That's why it's off center. And then it goes down and back in space. And okay. This little bump is part of the three lights that are up on top. There's a center one. And then another one to the right. And they have three lights. There's a little bit of a thickness, so on the right, they add a little piece to all three. There we go. There's the horns. So we're going to use the same cylinder for the tires. You'll see that in a minute. And that's the great thing about these 5 basic forms. And once you learn how to draw them, they're everywhere. They're basic. And you can draw other things. So there is I guess a wind flap up in here. Try to get the height to the width. So see, these two parts curve, and then this one part goes straight up and down. See, these two are parallel. This goes up and down, and this goes, the top part goes straight across. That's that wind to help with some of the aerodynamics. And then we've got I guess the smokestacks. One on the left, and then one on the right. The big one, actually, it goes further back. My spacing is off a little bit. Drawings are like puzzles, and you can see mine is a little off right here. That's okay. But this is a cylinder too. The top is a little bit rounded, and then the side goes up and down. It kind of goes on the inside of this a little bit. And then it has the top with a little twist, a little bit of rounded part. But this is a pipe, and a pipe is a cylinder. A little curve at the top. And then the last shape is this rectangle shape up here. It goes there. And then it passes our little muffler and it comes down right here. This part there. Let's try to make it straight. And using the edge of my board right here. Get that straight. The top straight right there. And this is all facing us. All right, now let's get those wheels in there and this angle. The top angle is easy. It's this angle coming down here, and it would go to a vanishing point. And same thing with this truck back, this bottom part. I'm gonna say from here, this middle of that bumper, and then I'm gonna make it go back. So when it comes to perspective, these lines actually meet. And this was only discovered 500 years ago. It seems like it's a long time, but it's like 5 old people. 550 maybe years during the Renaissance. So those are the angles going back, and then we end that truck. How far back, how wide do you want it to go? So it goes right about there. I would probably say it's the width, a little bit less than our window here, or about the window. Yeah, this window over here. Bring that over. And that's the end of the truck right there. It coming down. Notice that angle. That's steeper. The slope is not as steep. And then you can erase these guidelines. You know, my shading that I did earlier. And that shading became part of the trick. With a little gradient. That's a gradient. All right. Let's get those wheels in there. That's coming along. Coming along, singing the song. All right, I don't see much appreciation. Had a great time this evening. Thank you, Lavio. Oh, 10 new messages below that. You're welcome. Let's see. We'll get those tires on there in a second. Thank you. It was a great, I'm looking forward to the next one. Good night. Oh, I actually read that one already. I read those already. Oh, more images. Nice. More pelicans. Oh, look at that truck. Who did that, Llama?
I can't do. Yeah, I have difficult time with the computer. Sorry about that.
It's all good. Oh, okay. That's the image that we're copying. That's good. I thought somebody did that digitally. You're like advanced. You can teach the class. So much fun. It was super fun. See you next time. Thank you. Have a good time. You have to go. Great class. Thanks for instruction, inspiration. Got a good night from Moore Park, California. All right. And then somebody else. Thank you. And everyone stay safe. Good night. Yeah, I know it's a little wild day out there. And I was thinking of canceling the class. I go, no, there were so many people that signed up. This is like a record. I'm like, oh, I can't. And then we had technical difficulties. All right, so let's hang in there. We're just hanging in there. Let's get these tires. They look tough and they're a little tight, but I think we can handle them. Okay, so we've got the whole side of the truck. Let me zoom out again so you can see where we're at. And then I'm going to add these tires. There's a little bit of perspective to them. Like and the top to it, kind of going at that angle, and then the bottom as well, kind of going at that angle, and they're going to fit in there. Right.
If I can just ask a question, Eladio, is
Yes.
it easier for us to use a phone, when we're trying to share images? Would it be easier to use my phone?
I don't know. Whatever's easier for you is easier for you. I don't know. Everybody's going to be different.
Anybody in the group have a suggestion for that? Because I'm not very fluent with my Mac. I'm more used to using my Samsung phone.
Okay.
A phone is easier.
Easier? Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let's get these. Let's divide and conquer these tires. So we're going to divide and conquer these tires. So that's a good way to do it. So we're going to do find the center. And it's not really the center. It's going to be a little bit to the right because things that are closer are bigger. Things that are further away a little further back. And it's this big T shape. That's the top. And then this bottom part is this T kind of shape. This bottom should be at an angle. This can be straight up and down, and this is coming back right in there. Now it looks like a giant T with a really heavy top. If you can see that T. This space here is a little bigger, and this space is a little bit smaller. I don't know if you can see that giant T. Oh, it's off my screen. There we go. This angle here, that's the same angle that should be going to your vanishing point. This should be going up to that vanishing point. And this is kind of coming down to the vanishing point. So it looks like a giant T. But what's important is just these little angles. Angles make a difference, making it look like it's going back in space. Let's get these tires in here. All right, there's one oval. Start with this one, the closest one here. Try to get the top and the bottom, and then get that oval in here. That oval. There it is, that oval. That oval. And then it just, oh, might have to be a little bit longer. I'm looking at the bottom of my bumper, and this tire should be lower. So I can make that adjustment and just bring everything a little bit lower. And still aim for that vanishing point. And then this kind of comes straight across. And that's this, like this in space. So you have the oval and then the bottom of that cylinder. And practice drawing forms. That's the next level. Once you get practice drawing shapes, then you go to the next level, practice drawing forms and seeing them and how they change in space. That's what makes it challenging, because these forms change. But then you can draw them and you can do anything. You can, here, let's see, we can add a mug of coffee for my laptop. Let's see, and then we can use my imagination. The greatest nation. The Gulf of, gosh, no politics here, but definitely we need to become united as a world.
I was gonna say, I don't watch TV, I don't follow politics,
Yeah,
but I read, I think on Instagram, that he wants to change the Gulf of Mexico to America.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I heard, but that's all good. And I mean, level heads should prevail, and there's rules and laws and stuff like that.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. You can see there's an oval, I mean, in the cylinder. So the basic forms, let's talk about them real quick. My favorite is the sphere. It's round. It's the easiest to draw, which is just a circle, but the hardest to shade, depending on where the light's coming from. That's one of them, the sphere. And then the next one is the cube, which we kind of did. This whole truck is a cube. And that's, find a cube, 5 boxes. Boxes are everywhere. You're probably in a box, your room, and learning to see the angles. And that's the challenge. See, that's the whole thing when it comes to to draw ratios, angles. You get those angles, and then these angles going straight up and down. And as you change the angles, the cube rotates. But I can make this into anything. I can make this into a stove, a washing machine, just by, imagination, the greatest nation. Yep, Einstein says, knowledge can only take you so far, but imagination will take you everywhere around the world. There's a cube. We have our cylinder. That's 1, 2, 3. We have our pyramid. And anybody know the other one? It's ice cream cone. And the cone is like a cylinder, and you just squeeze it to make a cone. And the same thing, this is a circle, so as it turns in space, it gets thinner, and as it gets further away, this could be a cone. the tops. No, those are the 5 basic forms. All right, let's get back to the tires. And between this tire and these 2 tires behind there, there's another cylinder. It's kind of facing us. There is a thickness to the tire, this tire, so I can probably put another oval inside it. And I would probably get it closer like this. And then just shade that. Like that. There's more details we can get into, but I'm not going to worry about it. This part is facing us, so it's a little bit more like that. And then this roundedness goes back. Let's just do a little bit. And that's some kind of cylinder. And we got the tires. We got 2 more tires back here. They're really tight. I mean, for this drawing, it's kind of hard getting this detail in. There's one oval there, and then another oval right next to it, kind of fitting right in there. There's 2 ovals. Those are the tires. And then we just bring them in. Okay, so get those 2 ovals, and then just bring the tops in. A little bit of shading. And there's thickness, there's a thickness to it and stuff like that, and the rims and all that stuff, but I'm not going to worry about it. There we go, just fake it in there. Shaded dark tires. Leaving those circles open. Yeah, there's more detail in there, but I'm not going to get it. Yeah, because I can do another oval inside, or ellipse inside that ellipse. Get that slightly shaded.
Well, group, I want to thank you all. I'm sure I'll be back. I enjoyed this session.
Oh,
and I'm
glad.
learning a
Thank you.
lot.
Thank you for joining us.
So thank you, everybody. Good night.
All right. Good night, Francisco. Yeah, wow, this is the biggest group I've had like in a long time. This is awesome. I wish it was just my computer. Once we get that going. Yeah, we'll get that going. So yeah, come back. Let's see. So next month I did move it back a week as well. I'm coming back the 10th, and I think it's the week after that. So I'm gonna jump on it and really try to get, especially if I get a lot of people sign up. If not a lot of people sign up, I won't put in the effort. No, I'll still put in the effort. It looks like there's 3 sets of tires back here. I'm just going to do 2. Yeah, it's just two ovals. 1 and then 2. What's important is the top and the bottom. There's a slight angle. And then there's the shading and all that stuff. Yeah. And again, the tire comes in. And then shade that. Shade that. We can put a rim on the inside. And then there's little detail as far as there's lines. So there's a line in here. It goes across. We're just sketching it in. Another line in here. And then there's a reflection in this glass. Same thing as the bumper. So we're going to do the same thing as we did for the bumper. We're going to go get that mountains in here. Convoy. And then a little bit of circles. This is the challenge, getting that edge nice and sharp. And then as you shade, bring it down and lighten it up. Lighten it up as it comes down. So that edge right at that mountaintop is nice and crisp. And then as it comes down, slightly lighten it up. And, little circles. Circlism. Try to get that pencil control. Got to put in that mileage on the pencil. You got to pay your dues to sing the blues. Yep. Yeah, because everybody wants to have the skills, but you got to practice, put in the time. This is the 10,000 hours. Not necessarily 10,000. I think it can be less if you have good direction. Because you can be going in circles. But if you have good direction, if you know what to focus on, if you're focusing on ratios, oh, okay, I'm working on my ratios, then you get it and it becomes automatic. You don't think about it and you get good. And then you go to the next challenge. Angles, just focusing on angles. Okay, focusing on angles. And then you just focus on that and you just figure it out. Shading here and there. Go to the next challenge. Like here, there's little shadows, and you can make that shaded right there. There's a shadow in there, but I'm gonna leave it like that. And then we've got some lines coming back. And aim towards that vanishing point. It's almost straight across. These are the lines on the truck. And then I think that's it. We're done. There's a line there. A little bit of shading too. Because it changes a plane in space. This I can shade this. This pushes it back even more. And again, trying to think of contrast. Like this is lighter, even in the picture. So if I shade around it, it pops a little bit. And then this is darker right here, especially right at the edge. And then I can bring it down. But get your first layer in there. Shading is easier once you put your first layer. And if you want to go darker, you can, put another layer and another layer. It's a little bit of work, but that's the best way to do it. Get one layer and say, okay. And then get another layer. See those layers there. Get some of the shading on this truck. I don't see any suggestions. Oh yeah, we're gonna do the proportions. And I think we might just call it a night. I know we had a little bit of struggles. And then we'll get next month sometime. We'll go weekly. We'll go back to weekly. After a year, a little more than a year, monthly. We're gonna go back to weekly drawing here. But it's gonna be more of a hangout. It's not gonna be, I'm gonna be drawing, doing my thing. And you guys can do your thing. And if you want to share, it'll be a little bit different. Once a month, it'll be like this. We'll do the once a month drawing together like this. And then after that, we'll be doing. And thank you for joining us. Draw your own thing. There you go. That truck looks doesn't look too bad. Oh, somebody's sharing. Carl, awesome. Very nice. Sorry I didn't share with everyone. It's okay, Diane. You gotta feel comfortable. That's the whole thing. Feeling comfortable, and sometimes when we share stuff and people say things like, "Oh, what's that supposed to be?" Like, "Oh my gosh, it's a sketch." You need to learn to build your confidence, build your, because some people are not. So everybody's a critic, right? Everybody has their opinions, and the thing is, some people, they were probably torn down, and they want to tear other people down. So don't you got to sometimes grow that thick skin, especially as you start sharing your work. If you feel like here we can share your work, and we all support each other, and we know we're learning. It's that little learning curve. It's getting over that little hump. It's that learning hump, but once you're over it, then it's like, oh, okay, boom, you get it going. But a lot of people stop at that first little hump. It lets it, like, just think of this truck. Getting it started is so hard. You can actually put a little block there, and it'll hold that truck back, because getting it started is so hard. But once it's moving, any little block in its way, this truck will, once you're in momentum, it'll knock anything out of its way. So that's how kind of things are. Getting it started sometimes is tough, and then just getting it going, just keeping the momentum. Little things might slow you down, but hey, you got to keep the momentum, keep it going. Keep practicing. The more you practice, the more you'll progress. And just keep at it. Just keep at it. All right, we're not stopping here. So let's let's go to our little bit of proportions. Talk a little bit about proportions. We had another drawing that we did here. Line, shape, form. Oh, these are the basic elements. If you're new here, we start off with line. That's the most basic element. These are the building blocks of drawing. Then we go to shape. Then we go to form, and that's all you need for drawing. And then we go into value, which is shading. And then value is more important than color, because once you see value, how light and how dark things are, that really helps you with color. And then texture. texture is a little, how, if it's grassy, smooth, and that could probably even go before value. But yeah, texture. And then space. We talked about space, how artists create space. And then not just creating space, but how do you arrange things? How do you compose things? And that goes into composition. And those are the elements of art, the 7 elements. And then we go into the 7 principles, how to arrange those elements to create what we feel and think. And that's lesson number 2. All right, let's, where's my proportions? Proportions. Okay, little map. So in cartooning and in other, when you're learning a figure drawing, you learn the proportions of things. And here we go. This is the call to adventure. And this is really cool too. Look at more relationships. Look at this relationship. The width, notice how the arm span is about as wide as a person span. So arm span. So there you go. That's a square. And that's where you see that drawing by Da Vinci. Vesuvius Man. Yeah, Vesuvius Man. Where there's one, and he's really studying it and seeing the relationships. All right, so here we go. This is the average adult male. We have 7.5 heads tall. And it is broken down into fourths. Really good. I like that. So let's do that. So let's draw 7.5 heads, which is just 7.5 ovals. And they should all kind of be the same. So if you're having trouble getting things the same, you can cheat. It's not cheating. It's not cheating. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. So here, there's 1. That's our 1. Let's say that's 1 oval. See, now I have it, and I can use that over again. That's 2. The training wheels, 2. And then here's 3. And sometimes, you just use the training wheel. It reminds me of that mural I did where I was trying to draw a portrait without using grids. And I hadn't drawn big portraits in a while. So, and it was a mural of a priest and some of the parishioners came by, and I can hear him in Spanish saying, "No se parece," which means it doesn't look like him. And I'm like, I know, I'm in the middle of it. And I'm like, then I turn around, they're all smiling and waving, "Hi." I'm like, "Oh, it looks good." The thumbs up. I was like, I heard you. Oh my gosh. All right, so here we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7.5. That's the male. And I don't know if we're going to do the female. Female is just 7 heads. Maybe we should have just done the female. Now it's all good. It's 7.5. Yeah, there's slight differences. It's 7.5. So that's our proportions. Also, kind of ratios. Ratios and proportions are very similar. It just depends on what you're focusing on. With ratios, it's the height to the width. That's the height. We can see how many heads wide it is. Oh, and it's showing it here too. Look at, you can see the width. There's 2 heads on the sides. So whatever your oval is, because my ovals are all over the place, they all have the same height, but the same width is not consistent. So we'll say there's another head on this side, another head on this side. That's how wide that shoulders go. Now we're going to break it into fourths. Okay, so we've got the height of our character over here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Are we zoomed out? There we go. Zoom out a little more. There we go. And then I'm working on making a table here. So we're hanging in there. All right, see how many hardcore heroes are here? We've got 100 and, we got 15 of you. Awesome. And we've got, wow, 110 in the chat. That's wild. Thank you for joining us. Okay. I have a message from my sister. Let's see, because of the fires. Ooh, Jess' house was saved. Luckily, she sent me a video. Wow, the fires got really close to her home. Oh my gosh, my sister's house. Oh man. And she lives in Apple Valley. OMG. Wow. Oh my God. OMG. I'm going to text OMG. Jesus. My sister. Oh, she's doing okay. Who else? Oh, okay, these are just messages. All right. Let's see. Okay, so what else to look for? The half of this. So let's get this here to here. The anatomic middle, that's what I like because it's really helped me a lot getting the legs. When I figured this out, I was like, oh my gosh, I was always making the legs too small or too long or too short. You know, those are proportion problems. But once you know where the anatomic middle, that's where the pelvis is, the pubic bone. So let me see. I just lost it. I'll get the top and the bottom. Did I use that? Oh yeah, I did. So this is the top. And I folded it. There it is. I folded it to that line. And here's my center. And that is from, let's go back up. That's what I did wrong. And here it is. That's the middle. And that is where the legs. So you're mostly legs. All this is legs. Now we can get these. This is the center. That's the pubic bone. They call it the upper and lower half. And it's where the hands are. The hands just drop a little bit below that center. So knowing that where it's at and why it's important, because it tells you how long the legs are and tells you that the hands are just a little bit below that. Now we're going to break it into fourths. So let's take the half of that. That's the half. We're taking the half of a half. That's a fourth. Fractions, yes. It's a quarter. So we're getting that quarter. That quarter goes out this way. So this is a fourth. Bring that down. A fourth. And then that, let's see, here we go. All right, now what does that mean? The one up here, this is where the chest is, or they call it the areolas. It's two heads down. And that's the areolas. That's at the fourth. And that's the elbows are a little bit level with the bottom of the rib cage. It doesn't really say. That's probably, well, how many heads down? Right, two heads down. That's where the two heads down, right in that area. Yeah, your mileage will vary, but this is just to get your things going. Here's the quarter. The bottom is the bottom of the knees. So this bottom, the quarter here is the bottom of the knees. So the knees are kind of resting right on that center part. That's where the knees are. So the knees, the middle, anatomic middle, and then the chest. So let's go ahead and do this. And then there's proportions to the face, which we're not going to get into. But here's the head, and it's usually a little bit wider at the top. Add ears if you want, and just leave it alone. A little bit of a neck. And this is where we kind of get that torso. Again, the two heads wide and the torso. Get that neck in there, the trapezium, these muscles. And then you got the deltoids on the side, the rib cage, and then here's the anatomic middle. So you've got two parts. You've got the pelvis, which is kind of like a box here. Then you have this top part, which is kind of like an egg. I kind of think of it as an egg shape. And this is like a box shape. That helps kind of get the form. This egg too is good because it's kind of like because of the rib cage. And I'm just scribbling it in. Then you've got the two legs. You got one with the thigh, and then the knees are right above that quarter mark. Let's put another as it goes in and then out. Center. And there's a lot of ins and outs. And there's the knee there. And the calves. And then the feet. And the feet, they just have them as almost like half circles. Almost like the head. The calves. One side is usually a little bit taller, higher than the other. So don't go around like that. And right now I'm not looking at anything, so I'm not sure which side should be higher and lower. I forget. Not enough practice. And plus over reliance on reference material. You're gonna have to learn to practice drawing from memory, especially if you want to do that over and over. So I'm doing this up higher, and then this one a little bit lower, and then the other foot. My granddaughter's home. So we're just gonna do the arms, and we're gonna call it a night. Thank you for joining us. I don't know, I don't see any requests, or maybe there is something in the
Love you.
oh wow, the Pelican, somebody had the color. That's awesome. Somebody had the shading to the truck. That's awesome. Good night. Thanks. This is my first time. Wow. Oh man, I wish I could save all this. I think I can. I'm not sure. Wow. You're welcome. This is great. Thank you. Yeah, I know we had some struggles tonight, but thank you for sticking it out. All right, here we go. Let's finish these arms. See, the elbows are 3 heads down, 3 doors down. 1, 2. Right in there. Elbows. And then the hands, we know the hands go a little bit below right in there, below the groin area. So I can start off with just ovals for the hands, and then I just simplify. Then a circle for the elbows. And that's just a good way to kind of get it going. And there's tapers, see where the arm tapers, the deltoids, biceps, all those muscles. That comes with time and practice and study. But this is a very general kind of view, stick person, to kind of get your proportions right. And you can see the proportions look pretty good. Looks like a person standing there. And then it's moving the hands. You can move the hand up and start bending some of these joints. And then doing a profile. And then just keeping at it. It's never ending. Almost. Seems like it, but it does. You kind of get mastery of it till you reach mastery. All right. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome. It is 8:01. I'm going to stop early because I need to go do some stuff and start getting ready for my trip. Potato chip. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We'll see you guys next time. See you next month. Bye-bye, everybody. Good night.
Claudia, hey.
Good night. Thank you for joining us. We usually go longer, but I can't tonight. There's too much going on. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome. All right.